Thank you, Christine, for that awesome introduction. I absolutely love to impart highly practical, tactical tips and tricks and techniques and ninja tricks, as I like to call them, that you can apply immediately to help you with your social media. If you haven't heard me speak before, you've obviously can tell just a little bit of an accent. So by way of just a little bit of my story, I'm going to go ahead and I'll play a little video for you. I grew up in the boonies of BC. I'm one of 5 girls. And my dad was a single parent. My parents got divorced when I was 12, and my dad got custody of all of us. And he moved from Canada to Scotland, and it was really probably one of the most difficult times of my entire life. I didn't actually see my mom for 10 years. I was very, very shy as a child. I came here in '99 to San Diego with 50 pounds, British pounds in my pocket, 2 suitcases, knowing 2 people. But I just absolutely knew it was one of those defining moments in my life that I just knew I was supposed to be here. There was a whole new life for me. I became an entrepreneur. I was actually an employee all my life up to that point, but I started my own business and I worked in various different careers, and always throughout there's been this thread of my passion for people and for technology. Then in 2007, an opportunity landed in my lap to be on the beta team of a Facebook app. And I literally fell in love with Facebook. It became another defining moment for me. And at that time, 2007, I ran my whole business from the road, traveling around in an RV, and to the point where I was getting so much pent up business, and my life was needing to have a transition. So I chose to make the personal transition. And what happened was just so profound that I literally started to live a life that was much more in alignment with my truth, with my inner truth, and shining my light brighter, which is something I so encourage people to do, and what you can use social media to do, these platforms that allow us to connect with more people and to actually alleviate our fears of being exposed or not wanting to connect with too many people for fear that they see the real us. And so in essence, that's what I actually encourage people to do, because it's as Marianne Williamson talks about, it's not our darkness that we're most afraid of. We're not afraid that we're inadequate. We're afraid that we're powerful beyond measure, that it's actually our light that most frightens us. And so as a result of really making that shift and living into my highest and deepest truth, my business absolutely exploded. And my life now, my career, my finances, my personal relationships are better than they have ever been. And underlying all of this is my deep connection to me, to source, to doing much more inner work on myself, and having profound compassion for all people. And I really love to treat people as equals, and to, as Guy Kawasaki says, that the nobodies are the new somebodies, and everybody online to me is important, whether they have 10 followers or 10 million followers. Here's the thing, social media overwhelm. We actually have an inordinate amount of information coming at us. There is an epidemic going on of social media overwhelm. Here's the deal, because 90% of all the data in the world today has been created in the last 2 years. Is it any wonder we're overwhelmed? Here's the difference too, that information is coming at us. It's just this constant barrage. Well, I got some exciting news for you. So, who knows this guy? Tony Horton. Aging is optional. Everybody say it. Aging is optional, right? Of course it is. Every single year on my birthday, I affirm that I'm getting younger. And I look back at my photos, not bad, 47, not bad. I've decided that overwhelm is optional. Can I get an amen? Amen. Right? Because otherwise you're getting pulled in all directions. Oh my God, I have Facebook, and I got to figure this Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest. This is like too much. Oh, my blog, my email list. You're getting pulled in all these directions, and you're thinking, okay, what works for me? You're following someone, maybe something that works really well for them might not necessarily work for you. The biggest challenge, I heard Christy speaking a little bit about this, about what I've discovered. I surveyed my database about once or twice a year, and I ask them, what is your biggest challenge with social media? Guess what? Hands down, it's time. Hello, that's not even anything to do with social media per se. That's just a fact of life, is that with everything speeding up and all this data coming at us, where do we find the time to, quotes, do it all? Well, the answer, the solution, absolutely lies in having a system. You must have a systematic approach to your social media success. And guess what? You must get help. You guys are business builders, you're business owners. You guys have strengths. You have strengths, whether it's coaching, leading, training. You have your clients, you have your team. You're working on grooming more leaders. It takes time also to do social media. And I'm going to share in a little bit with the 6 steps. One of the easiest components to delegate is content. So that's one of the solutions to leveraging your time, is making sure that you have help. And it could literally be a virtual assistant for 1 or 2 hours a day. A week even, 1 or 2 hours a week would make all the difference in the world, because if that person, all they're specializing in is getting you your content, filling it into Hootsuite. Hands up, who uses Hootsuite? Okay, good. Oh, that's a lot more than many audiences I speak to. So for those of you that didn't raise your hands, it's H-O-O-T-S-U-I-T-E. That's H-O-O-T as in hoot, oot na boot. S-U-I-T-E, like sweet. Okay, so hootsuite.com. Maybe you use something else like Buffer app is pretty good too, or there's Post Planner, there's some other ones more enterprise level. But really the solution to this overwhelm and this constant feeling of having to be connected, this constant feeling of like you sleep with your phone and you reach for it, the last thing you do at night, check your email and your Facebook and your Twitter and your Instagram, get up in the morning and the first thing you do, check your email and Facebook and Twitter. It's like really like this, we're like on the hamster wheel. It's like, it's not good for us. It's not healthy. We've got to be able to relax and sometimes be able to get off the grid. About once a quarter, I actually take about 3 days off the grid. I literally unplug, no technology, and I go to my favorite spiritual retreat, and it fills up my cup. And I really feel that one of the successes in life is that when you have your own cup filled up, then you're giving from what's flowing over in the saucer. And you can only do that when you give yourself that time and you fill up your whatever is important to you. Really important to give to yourself, build your life, and then have your business around that. So you can do that with systems. Now, I just slipped this little slide in another of my favorite spiritual peeps, Deepak Chopra, because my spiritual teacher, Esperanza, her name is Esperanza Universo. She's out of San Diego, and she often will say, like when I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off, and I'm like, fire hose information, I'm like, I've got so much to do, And then she's like, that's the time when you need to stand still. You take time to be still. You don't go faster. The secret to going faster is actually to go a little bit slower. Take time, slow down your talking, your walking, your typing, whatever it is you're doing, slow down. And as Deepak says, you find your true self in that stillness. And you can be you're all leaders, you're all setting example for your team as well. So stillness, because guess what? You can't know it all. You will never know it all, and you can't be on all the social networks. Here's my piece of advice, pick 2 and master those. You could start with 1 for those of you maybe just beginning out, but I'm going to recommend you go deep with Facebook. That's why I made this specifically about mastering Facebook, and pick 1 other. For some of you, it might be Instagram. Others maybe prefer Twitter. I would imagine a large demographic of your audience is on Pinterest. Who here uses Pinterest? Fantastic, good. Yeah, see, that's a lot more than many audiences I speak to. So, yeah, about 80% women on that. That one takes a little bit more time too. Obviously, you got to get in there and engage. You can't just throw stuff up and hopefully that people respond. But you'll see in a moment when I share my formula. So as I'm saying to you to be still, take time out, I'm going to put up this overwhelming map for you. It's real simple. Just apply this. See the bottom section underneath the circle that says marketing. It says social media. That's what we're going to focus on today. It's just that little section that says social media. And I think what happens is that people get really hung up on just the social media piece, and they're not having everything else. And the beauty of the business that you guys have with the Beachbody and being a network marketing and being that you have systems and there's structure and you have levels, and that a lot of this in this map is already inherent in what you do, the systems and the tools and setting goals, etc. But this is where I found for many, many years I teach social media, and social media is an amplifier. It amplifies what you're doing already. So if you're driving people from your Facebook or your Twitter to a landing page, like an opt-in or something, or a website, and it's kind of crappy, for lack of a better word, is not congruent with what your message you want to share, then you could actually be losing business. You could actually be negatively impacting your reputation or your business building. So that's why I found, like, I do have a background as a business coach, and I found that it was just so much more effective to teach this holistic approach and have people really focus on having a great email system, a great landing page, and like I say, having a full-on systematic approach to your social media. Let's dive into the first step, clarity. Step 1, you can write that on your handout, on the first page of the handout. The C stands for clarity. And I like to use FOCUS as an acronym. FOCUS is an acronym for follow one course until successful. Okay, follow one course until successful. You might have heard that before. I'm a huge fan of that. Back in 2007, when I decided to really go deep and master Facebook, that was it. I might have had a few other interests or pursuits, but I was so committed to just focusing on Facebook. I mean, as I said in my video trailer there, it was a defining moment in May of 2007 when I got on Facebook. there was something magical about that site. And I honestly believe that social media in general, Facebook in particular, it's basically a co-creation, if you will, or a manifestation of our desire as human beings to be more connected. To know that we matter, that we're not alone, that we can reach out, as Christine said, that it's just this phenomenally powerful mechanism, vehicle through which we can reach out and connect with anybody in the world. And these could all potentially be people that you can impact their lives. What I mean by clarity and focus is that when I come to your Facebook page or your Twitter, your Instagram, and I'm reading your bio and I'm looking at your cover image, it needs to instantly show me who you are, what you do. I need to say to myself as a prospect, I look at your social profiles as if I'm in the shoes of your target market. And so I need to instantly go, I'm in the right place. I know exactly what this person does. I'm going to click the like button, or I'm going to sign up, that kind of thing. So a nice eye-catching design. Now, unless you're a professional graphic designer, highly recommend that you do not do your own graphics, okay? Really, just for the sake of, $100 or something, highly recommend you have someone do a nice cover image on your fan page. Now, I know many of you call it like page. I still call it fan page. When they first came out in 2008, they were called fan pages. So, by way of an example, is Chrissy C in the room? So I'm putting you in the hot seat. You didn't know you were going to be in the hot seat. So, what I love about Chrissy's Facebook page is her cover image instantly. She has a nice, warm, welcoming photo of herself. She says right up front, fitness coach, helping others lead a fit, faithful, and fabulous life. Beautiful. And because Facebook changed up the cover image rules, you can have URLs, you can have contact information. She has chrissycfitness.com right there. And I also want to draw attention to her bio. Work at WHM. I know most everybody that knows what that acronym is would potentially be a target, one of your targets, Chrissy. Work-at-home mom, obviously, wife, mother of 2. I want to keep this in mind. So this is her Facebook page. As I flip over to her website, same picture, congruence. Congruence is so important. Photos. You've got to look like your photo. But I always say to people, now men, we kind of envy you guys. Oftentimes you don't really change all that much. But if you gain or lose weight, or you gain or lose hair, you've got to update your profile pictures. Chrissy, I just love your page because you've got email opt-in, what we call above the fold. Okay, she's collecting email addresses. Vital, crucial, critical component of your business. Must collect email addresses. Now, Christine, I believe, and John, you guys have your own email system, I think, that people can sign up for. So you can use that, or you might have like eWeber or something like that, constant contact. And you also have your social profiles up top, and you have your like box, that's called, so you can like it. And then she also has the social share buttons on her blog. And we hop over, and I also pulled up your Twitter and your Instagram. Now, it looks like probably because you ran out of characters on Twitter, right? She couldn't put the final S, so that she's Chrissy C Fitness without a second S on Twitter, but you're Chrissy C Fitness on Instagram. So great job. You get a pass from me. Thank you too. Yeah. Now she is active on her Facebook fan page and on Instagram. What Chrissy's doing on Twitter, I want to draw you guys' attention to, is she's hooked up her fan page to Twitter. So right now, she's not necessarily proactively tweeting or engaging over there, but she has a presence. Because all you need to go do is go to facebook.com/Twitter, okay, facebook.com/Twitter, and hook up your fan page to post onto your Twitter. I'm going to guess that vast majority you don't post like enormous amounts of time, so then that, at least if you do that, then at least you have some content going out on Twitter, and that will slowly build up, because she's doing pretty decent with her following. And at some point, when you expand out, you can then integrate Twitter into your social media strategy. Now, I am so excited to dispel this great big myth out there. I have so many people that say to me, should I have a profile or a fan page, or you guys call them like pages, all confused, and I'm going to just make a bold declaration, my friends. Anybody here, I'm not going to single anybody out, but I know who you are, that has put up a cover image on your personal Facebook profile that says, closed, I'm no longer here, I've moved, I'm only on my fan page, get lost. No. I highly, highly recommend that you don't do that. Because guess what? Now, think about it from a user standpoint. Take your marketer, your business hat off, put your user hat back on, and think about your Facebook newsfeed as you're going through it on your phone or desktop. Vast majority, I'm going to guess about 80% of content that we see in the newsfeed is from friends, personal profiles. We're not getting bombarded with a lot. We see sometimes a little more, obviously there's paid content. About 1 in 15 pieces of content in the newsfeed is paid, sponsored stories and ads. So I'm going to recommend, as an approach, that you build out your Facebook personal profile with your friends. I personally went up to 4,800, max is 5,000, remember. I'd never max it out at 5. I keep what I call a buffer, about 200, so I'm at 4,800 at most, give or take. And then when I meet people at conferences that I specifically want to friend, I'll add them, because I love to be Facebook friends with people that I've met and begun to get to know in person. Now, and as the numbers show here, 500,000, I basically have 500,000 potentially an audience on Facebook. And with my like page, my fan page, 114,000 fans over there. Now, yes, Facebook has come right out and admitted that they only display your posts to roughly 16%, 16% of your fans. So only 16 out of 100 of your fans are seeing your posts. Now, there are some studies out there that show that it could be as low as 2%, it could be as high as 50 or 60%, it just depends. It is all based on engagement. The more your fans are engaging with your content, the more they'll see it in their news feed, okay? I've got some more examples coming up for you. So, a lot of people say, I use Facebook for personal reasons only. And the way I see it is, there was life before Facebook. Believe it or not, as much as I'm an evangelist for the site. So, for real personal friends and immediate family, there's phone, there's email, there's text, there's meeting in person. We don't need to have our privacy so locked down on Facebook. To me, Facebook, I use it as a marketing channel, but yes, of course, I'm friends with all my immediate family and my close personal friends, but I'm cognizant of what I'm sharing. So it's basically 3 opportunities with posting to friends, posting to public on your profile, and then posting on your like page, your fan page. That's 3 opportunities to be seen in the news feed, and you'll just space it out throughout the day. You only need 2 or 3 good posts on your fan page a day. I post maybe once or twice. You don't need a lot of content. As a strategy for what to post, here's my rule. You can adopt this or not, but I find it really works well. 80% of the time, post what I call value-adding content. Totally okay to post other people's stuff, what I call OPC, and also mix in maybe about 20% where you're directly soliciting business per se, promotional. And then I flip it around on my, not flip around, but my personal profile, about 80% personal and 20% promotional. So, but still nonetheless, I often say to people that absolutely everything I do online has a strategic intent. I don't just like throw a post away. I'm really thinking it through. In fact, a wonderful mantra that I learned from my spiritual teacher a while ago is basically, what is my deepest intent? So before I post anything online, in fact, before I send a text or an email or any kind of communication, I check in with myself and say, what is my deepest intent? And it just really helps keep your ego in check. It really helps just that whole value-adding piece, making sure we're always adding value. All right, number 2 is your voice. That's what the V is, voice. And what I mean by that is thinking about, you're talking in first person or third person. The absolute key is congruence, the messaging, the style. Are you playful? Are you a little more serious? Are you talking about fitness, nutrition? What is it that you are presenting to your following online? And that you're just really thinking through the whole messaging part through all your different social channels. Sometimes you might be a little more informal on your personal profile, a little bit more business on your fan page, if that makes sense. And so this was an example of just like the personable, humanized, really nice job the other night there. She's just sharing about what her life's like. And I'm sure many, many of your following could relate to that, talking about school pickup, and it was Halloween, she's in costume and makeup, and et cetera, et cetera. And, but just a fun, playful update. And with that personable style. The key is what I call humanize. You've got to humanize your business. You can't be too... I feel like in some ways I'm probably preaching to the choir because most of you are what I would call personality-based businesses. You are the business. People get to know you. A lot of brands do the opposite of this. You'll see they're very kind of they're kind of old school push marketing. They don't want to get too personalized with their following. In the relationship marketing book that I wrote, Christine mentioned, I talk about in there how you have B2B, which is business to business, B2C, business to consumer, and to me, it's all P2P, which is people to people. So I like to say, businesses are run by people, and people are on Facebook. People say to me, does Facebook work for B2B? I'm like, yeah, businesses are run by people are on Facebook, so Facebook works for B2B, the end. Okay, so moving along, number 3, step 3 is content. This is crucial. I have this saying that content is king, absolutely is king, because it all starts with having terrific content. Now, here's the thing with content. Guess what, guys and gals? 96% of your Facebook fans, once they've liked that page, they rarely, if ever, return to the page. They don't bookmark it. They don't wake up in the morning and the first thing they do is go, oh my God, I've got to go to that so-and-so's page. They're looking at their news feed. They're getting your content through their newsfeed. That's why it's crucial to have excellent content and never ever waste, quote unquote, waste a post by not having some kind of a message with a question or a call to action or possibly a link. And if you do post links, I recommend that you X out the little preview because link posts get the lowest reach in the newsfeed, the lowest visibility. You've got to watch and get a feel for what works. You want to experiment with many different parameters. Type of post, timing, okay, what day, what time of day, day of week. Don't be afraid to post outside business hours. Many times people hop on Facebook late at night and their kids are all in bed, they're done with their crazy day, and they're going to go on Facebook later. And also length. I type long posts, but sometimes super short ones. One of my most popular posts in the last few months was at 1 o'clock in the morning, Pacific time. And all I said, I'd been out partying, and I just posted, I had a drink or two, no, and a couple of glasses of wine, that's all. And it was 1:11 a.m., and I put something like, it's 1:11 a.m., just back from painting the town red. What time is it in your part of the world? Now, I do have a global audience. I couldn't believe it, hundreds and hundreds of comments. People from all over the world sharing what they were up to and what time it was. Just sometimes now, I wouldn't do a lot of those posts, but just a few, of those kinds of posts to really just, connect with people. Your post is 40 to 150 times more likely to reach your fans in the news feed versus your page. You've got to think strategically about that, right for the news feed. Okay? I'll give you some more tips on that in a moment. It's also perfectly okay to repurpose content. What I mean by that, let's say you post something on Instagram or on Twitter, and it does really well. You get a great response. You can take that same piece of content, maybe a day or two later, post it on your fan page. Something does really well on your fan page, and maybe the following week, you take the same content. Don't share it. You'll get less visibility. Initiate a new post with the same content and post that on your profile. Make sense? But I wouldn't post exact same content in all places all at once. I do hook up my Instagram to Twitter and to Facebook. And of course, remember, Instagram is owned by Facebook, and I started to notice, probably since they added the 15-second videos, competing with Vine, which is owned by Twitter, of course, that I tend to get some pretty good visibility with the Instagram videos in my Facebook newsfeed. So I like to do those. Those are fun. But it's perfectly okay to take pieces of content, retweet them, put them back into the Hootsuite hopper, and repurpose them, like I say. All right, so an example for you. Joanne has over 250,000 fans, and you will see her PTAT, people talking about this number, almost always is greater than 100%. I've seen her PTAT be as high as 700,000. What Joanne does, this is what's called a passion page. Now, many of you could be in a position to have a passion page. Well, a passion page is just a fan page. You don't go to Facebook and look, what's a passion page? And all you're going to do is post regular content. In Joanne's case, she built up. You don't start from the ground zero doing this. She built up to posting probably twice an hour. It's a lot. It's a crazy lot of content. But remember about the news feed. Her content is consistently in the news feed. What I specifically want to draw your attention to as well is if you look at the style of what she posts, whether it's an image or it's a link with the X out or status update, almost every post there's a call to action to join her newsletter. Now you might think that's a little pushy and repetitive. Somehow it's worked for her. If you take her bit.ly link, you can look at the stats on her bit.ly link for the newsletter. It's been clicked on over 1 million times. So she is using Facebook to build her email list, and many of her links, she's with Skim Links, so Skim Links you can do Zappos or Nordstrom's or whatever, and she's selling a lot of the products that she's posting about through affiliate links. So she's doing very well, and obviously you guys are predominantly using Facebook to gather leads. You want people to try out your products, and ultimately those that are wanting to be a business builder to join your team. Number 4 is engagement. This is a site that I absolutely love, Social Bakers. I highly recommend you take a look at socialbakers.com. They do Facebook analytics, social media analytics. I love this statement by the CEO, Jan. These guys are out of the Czech Republic. He says, in the last year, there's been a shift away from brands simply seeking to collect the highest number of fans. What's important is how you interact and serve them. So I really want you guys to think about that in terms of your business. Wherever you're at is okay. It's not all about getting bazillions of fans or friends or followers, whatever you want to call them, likes. It's how you interact and serve the people that are in front of you. And from there, when you focus on quality, the quantity comes. And it's just a wonderful way to approach social media. And I like to say that content is king, but engagement is queen, and she rules the house. Because without that engagement part, it's like the lights are on, but nobody's home. Really, really important to have that engagement. And that empathy, that like understanding where people are at, reading between the lines, seeing how you can help and serve them. Just really, really powerful. An example, we're going to put our own Christine in the hot seat. Is Christine in the room? Yeah. So I thought this, Christine, I've got actually 2 slides dedicated to this post. I thought it was so good, I almost titled this slide, Anatomy of a Perfect Facebook Post. Ooh. So she starts off with a fun question, a light-hearted question. When was the last time you danced like nobody was watching? Clear line. Okay, notice how it's not all bunched up. She has a clear line. Now, if people wanted to, they could just respond to that part. And she's got a picture here of her, that is you, right? You look great there. And here she is dancing like nobody's watching. But she's written more because you can do longer posts. So that's that red arrows. You click see more, and she's included CTA, remember, stands for call to action. So she's actually got a call to action, trainer discount, register here. She's got a link. So there's actually a way for people to interact. Now, go to the next slide, and what I also want to draw your attention to, this was posted out, this is my time zone, that's 6:05 a.m. You're in Central, you're here? Yeah. Okay, so that would have been at 8:05 Central, but the screenshot is in my time zone. So she posted this, 8:05 in her time. Someone responds within a few minutes, I got the time right there, 6:21, and 6:21, right away she responds to Blanca, but below that, someone has said, Christine, I'm considering becoming a coach. I'm not quite sure how to start. Within 3 minutes, she responds and saying, I just emailed you. Unbelievable. So one of the secrets, that's why I say it's the anatomy of a perfect post, prompt response. You tag the person commenting. You can do this as a fan page owner. You can tag a person once they've commented. I actually recommend that you do a backspace and you delete their last name. So it's just a little bit more personable. So you could say, hey, Kathleen, and you just hit backspace one time and it gets rid of their last name. But @tag, because also what that does is it puts a notification up on their little globe. They get a little red notification. They probably do anyway when you comment. reply to their comment, but I also like to tag them. It just adds that personable relationship. Plus, the third element is she has a process for hot prospects. I mean, that's somebody like big red, Christine, pick me. I want to join your business. And she's got to be on there. Now, if it's not you, you want to have someone on there. You want to have moderators, community managers, maybe a virtual assistant or an in-person assistant monitoring. I actually have a whole team that manage my fan page for me. I never have anybody speak as me. Whenever I'm speaking in first person, it's always me. But I have what I call a Team Mari page, and my Team Mari responds to almost all my Facebook questions that people post on my wall. So that works really well. So great job, Ms. Christine. 5, this leads me very nicely into point 5. That C stands for conversion. Conversion. This is why I said earlier, I want to see no more wasteful posts. Don't just say, oh, the weather is nice, or I'm here in Dallas and life is good. It's like, think strategically. You got that moment to be seen in the news feed. How can you capture people's attention and just real kind of naturally talk about what you're doing and things like that? Now, for me, I've been posting quite a bit about speaking at this event. So for me, the bulk of my revenue comes from webinars and online trainings. Also, I travel and I speak. So whenever I'm talking about speaking, I know that I'm strategically furthering that visibility, and that other people that maybe want to hire a speaker on social media, then they would see that go by. So that's part of my conversion strategy. Talking about promotion and marketing 20% of the time, clear offers and CTAs, calls to action, really, really important, as we just showed with Christine's example. Point 6, track and measure. That's what that final point is there for you guys. The M stands for measure. You've got to know what you're tracking and measuring. You guys all do this in your business anyway, but what gets measured gets improved. I got a little tape measure there for you, haha. One of the things on Facebook I think that's super easy is you go into your insights, click on it, and everybody has the new insights now, they're new and improved. Go into your Facebook insights, click on the little, over to the right it says posts, and then you can click on any post, and this pops up. This is like a pop-up, and is what's called a scorecard, okay? And on the scorecard, you can see at a glance what's called positive feedback and negative feedback. Positive feedback's pretty obvious from the wall. You can see your likes, comments, shares, and you'll have a good sense, and maybe you put that in an Excel spreadsheet and you're tracking it. But I really want to make sure that I draw your attention to negative feedback. It's going to show you how many people are hiding your post, hiding all posts, reporting as spam, and possibly unliking the page. It's perfectly normal to have some negative feedback. But if you have more than just a few, then you're not getting your posts right, okay? Maybe the timing's off, maybe they're too long, maybe they're too frequent, and you've got to keep experimenting until you find your sweet spot, okay? So that's called your post scorecard. I mean, social media is no longer something that maybe it's an option or it's something a trend or a fad. It's absolutely a fundamental shift in how we communicate and do business on the planet. And I'm hearing a few people actually, few little whisperings. People are saying, oh, I'm frustrated with Facebook. Facebook keeps changing things. It's hard to get seen in the newsfeed. Photos don't work so well anymore. And I'm like, you've got to get in the trenches, switch up your strategy, get creative, get innovative, think outside the box. You've got to be active on Facebook. It's the largest social network on the planet. 1.1 billion active users, 750 million of which access on their mobile devices. You've got this wonderful captive audience waiting for you to help them. Quick recap, you've got that clarity, you're clear on what your message is, great graphics, seamless bio. That's another thing about Chrissy's various social profiles. Your bio was almost identical in all of your different social channels, which was awesome. And that you have this authentic, congruent voice throughout. Your content is phenomenal, people are interacting with it, keep tweaking it until they are. You're engaging, you have an engagement strategy, and you're really starting to think strategically. Listen, folks, it is okay to sell and market on social media. It really is. Whoever said it wasn't, doesn't know what they're talking about. But I think that was maybe years ago. People say, oh, you can't sell on social media. No, we've got business to run here. Of course you can. Track and measure. Where is Shailene in the room? Shailene Johnson? Hi, oh yeah, so she's coming up. Hey, Shailene. Shailene is doing a phenomenal job on Instagram. Talk about tracking and measuring and conversion of this whole formula. She does an exceptional job of that. So if you're not following Shailene on Instagram, you definitely want to be. She's really, really great at that. If you have any questions at all, do connect with me on any of my social sites, and I hope to get the pleasure of working with you. Please, from my heart to yours, it's been an honor to serve you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.